Hello, you absolute legends. On the 23rd of September 2010, the Japanese speedrunner Shigeru did something that in the past 13 years no one else had been able to replicate. He simultaneously held the world record for 4 out of the 5 main categories in Super Mario 64. He was the fastest in 120 star, 70 star, 16 star, and 1 star. The only category he didn't hold the record for was 0 star, but at the time, this had only ever been completed by a single person, the runner Taka, and the world record was 15 minutes long. It's hard to know if 0 star was a category at all at the time. It was barely even considered humanly viable. So with this in mind, it kind of makes sense that Shigeru wasn't able to capture 5 out of 5. At this point in history, the Japanese speedrunners dominated Super Mario 64, holding all of the records, and it wasn't until years later that the West were finally able to catch up and be competitive. This was a different time, and while Shigeru's feat is impressive, it would be an entirely different story if someone were to duplicate it today. Now, we have thousands of Super Mario 64 speedrunners from all across the globe. These days, people are literally professional Super Mario 64 players who earn a living from grinding the game on stream. Things are far more competitive now than they ever have been, which makes what recently happened even more insane. Back in March, I made a video covering the new 16-star world record achieved by Suigi. This was the most well-executed Super Mario 64 speedrun in history, an almost flawless run with only the most minuscule of mistakes. It was obvious that Suigi was gifted, but we had no idea what was about to come. At the time, Suigi held 2 out of 5 records, the 16 and 1 star categories. The 0 star world record was the obvious next target. It's very similar to 1 star, with just one much harder trick that needs to be performed. Suigi got the world record almost immediately. But not only that, he ended up beating it multiple times, and by the end of April, he was 7 seconds ahead of second place. Holding 3 out of 5 records, he was now in the same league as runners like Zaya, Dowski, and Kano, who had all held 3 at the same time. Naturally, everyone was now wondering, how is Suigi going to go in the longer categories? As I've talked about many times, the longer speedruns require different skills. While the shorter categories focus on perfect execution for a brief time, the longer categories focus on stress and fatigue management and consistency. Well, we didn't have to wait for long. Only 11 days after starting his attempts for the 70-star world record, not only did he achieve it, but he demolished the existing record, beating it by 13 seconds. This is ridiculous. Seemingly overnight, Suigi has entered the conversation as the greatest Super Mario 64 player ever. And while it's insane enough that he now holds 4 out of 5 world records, that fact alone doesn't even begin to scratch the surface of just how dominant Suigi is. Because not only does he hold the records, but he obliterates second place in every one. He is way out in front, and it's hard to imagine anyone else right now that could match him in any of them. In this video, we will take a quick look at these 2 new records and discuss the possibility of Suigi doing what no one else has ever done and going 5 for 5. I really hope you enjoy. Now legends, in this video I've partnered with Geology, who offer award-winning skin, hair, and body products. Honestly, if you want to impress someone, one of the best things you can do is look and smell good. And I'm telling you, Geology products will have you looking and smelling your very best. Obviously, we all need to wash our face. Personally, I have very oily skin, so I need to use Geology's everyday face wash or my wife yells at me. And I also use their nourishing eye cream so I don't look as much like a zombie because I don't get enough sleep. But I also recently started using their body wash and deodorant, and they smell incredible. It's actually kind of shocking how good they smell. After using Geology, I don't think I'll go back to the generic products I was using before. There is a reason they have over 6,000 5-star reviews, and I seriously suggest giving Geology products a try. The process is super simple. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code and take a 30-second quiz, and Geology will send a personalized routine right to your door. And right now, for a limited time, if you use my code CarlJob70, Geology will give you an exclusive 70% off their award-winning skincare trial set. Plus, you can save big on any extra products you add on top. Again, it's a really good deal, so just click the link in the description. Before getting into these new records, I just want to quickly correct something that I said in my last video about Suigi. I said the player Slippery Nip was the only player who even had a sum of best that was quicker than Suigi's 16-star world record. But this ended up being incorrect, as there are several players who have a faster sum. These include Slippery Nip, GTM, Ouija, and Trey Bordo. It's inevitable that I'll make a mistake here or there, but it does suck when it comes at the expense of another speedrunner. After getting his perfect 16-star run in late March, Suigi began his grind for the 0-star world record. Once again, it seemed like he was on pace to be significantly quicker than the existing record held by Kano. One of the tricks that Suigi had up his sleeve was a faster way to get through the 30-star door. This is easily one of the hardest and most precise tricks in the game, the sideways backwards long jump. 0-star is also more precise because you need the exact amount of speed to get through the Dire Docks portal so you can enter Bowser in the Fire Sea directly. The standard way of going through the 30-star door on 0-star requires you to do several more jumps against a pillar and then trigger the door. Kano does 6 extra long jumps plus triggers the door before getting into the Bowser stage. Suigi would do it differently, attaining more speed off the stairs and having a slightly better angle, which allows him to not only do less long jumps against the wall, but also skip the door trigger. This ends up being up to 5 seconds faster than the older method. One benefit of this strategy is that despite being less consistent, if you do fail the Dire Docks skip, you can continue the run as if it were 1-star. And funnily enough, while grinding 0-star, Suigi accidentally broke his 1-star record again by 1 second.
That's 657. That's a 657, dude. Oh my god.
With the faster skip, better technique, and more optimal backwards long jumps, Suigi had a huge advantage and was on pace to break the record by over 10 seconds. But he just couldn't seem to nail the perfect run like he did in 1 and 16-star. He would ultimately break the record 4 times, landing on 6 minutes and 20 seconds, but even though he was 7 seconds ahead of second place, the run still had a major mistake while performing the 30-star door skip. This cost 5 seconds alone, and even though he did end up setting a new world record, you can hear his disappointment.
For this to be 1x. No. That's split early. It's like a lower 620, but it's split early.
Over the next month, Suigi would try to lower this, but again he just couldn't get a run together. In the end, he would put 0-star to the side and set his sights on the next big challenge, the 70-star world record. 70-star is a whole different beast. It's 2.5 times longer than 16-star, and this is where being able to handle your nerves really starts to play a part. In the last few years, the 70-star category has started to become a lot more optimized, and in my opinion, this is partly due to the shorter category players migrating over and bringing with them the harder strategies they would use in a category like 16-star. The reality is that the techniques players normally use in a category like 16-star are more difficult but faster than what players normally use in 70 or 120-star. However, if a player can bring over those faster techniques and still do them consistently, they would have a massive advantage over the existing players. I remember back in 2020 seeing the runner Ouija start using double jump owlless in his 70-star runs, and being blown away. At the time, Ouija was primarily known for his 16-star runs where double jump was already common, but the other 70-star runners were still using the triple jump method, which is slower. Nowadays, double jump owlless is basically standard among the top 70-star runners, and with Suigi coming across to 70-star, he's doing the same thing. He's using strategies the other 70-star runners haven't yet implemented, but he'd become extremely good at because of his 16-star prowess. The question would become, can Suigi use faster strategies and still have the consistency in order to complete runs? And this question would be answered almost immediately. Literally 3 days after starting his 70-star grind, Suigi already had a run that was world record pace entering the final Bowser stage. However, a slew of costly mistakes led to the world record slipping away.
Oh my god, I just lost record. Yeah.
9 days later, Suigi would get another chance, and this run must have been preordained by God himself, because there were multiple times this run should have ended, but it was somehow saved. After collecting the final star and heading into Bowser in the Sky, Suigi was on pace to beat the world record by 14 seconds, and he must have learned a serious lesson from his previous failure, because while that final stage was fraught with mistakes, this time he played it perfectly.
God, I just got 4 and 5.
This is the greatest rise I've ever seen in speedrunning history. In the span of just a few months, Suigi has gone from someone who just had a really good 16-star world record to someone who is absolutely destroying 4 out of 5 categories, leaving second place in the dust each and every time. For the second time in history, someone holds 4 records. But this time is much more significant because it comes at a time where Super Mario 64 is far more competitive. Obviously, everyone is now looking at the 120-star record and wondering if Suigi can do the clean sweep. And honestly, if you have any doubts about Suigi's ability to get the 120-star record, you simply haven't seen him play. It is true that Suigi's current 120-star personal best is not very fast, but I think by this stage, he has proven that he can do anything in this game. Historically, it has been very common for the 70-star world record holder to also hold the 120-star record. Players like Siglemic, Punkation, Cheese, and most recently Ouija all held both at the same time. And again, I must stress that Suigi doesn't just hold the 70-star world record, he owns it. He's light years ahead of second place, and has a massive advantage if and when he does decide to grind 120. And remember, he achieved the 70-star record in less than 2 weeks. It seems almost certain that we are witnessing the greatest Super Mario 64 player ever, and it's shocking just how quickly the landscape changed. Please do me a favor though, don't go into Suigi's stream and ask him when he's going to be playing 120 star. Even though everyone is excited for it to happen, Suigi will do it if and when he is ready. Thank you so much for watching, you legends. I hope you are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.